what I thought of these two monster vans and what I would do to them to make them better, or maybe they're fine the way they are. Stay tuned to find that out and more on this episode of Combustion RC. And I do have to rebuttal something I said in my previous video. Good evening. We're back with our final thoughts on Monster Mash. As you can tell here, I've got my two vehicles I'm getting ready for indoor season sitting right next to me because I still have some work to do on them, part of which will be another video I'm recording tonight, so be sure to stick around and subscribe so that you're ready for that. I will be rebuilding the diffs on the Fortec here. I have no idea what I'm doing on the Fortec. I've never worked on one. We'll learn together. Back to the Monster Mash. All right, so I know the question that you all are asking, which one is better? For $219.99, which one is better? Yes, that's my answer. Yes, both. Depending on what you're doing, they're both better. Let's go through them here. What I've noticed, and if you watch the video on the outdoor driving of both of these, you'll notice that the MT12 did fantastic trailing through the woods. I mean, this four-link suspension solid axle is fantastic. It literally has so much flex to it, it's crazy. So that alone makes this a better trail rig than the Mad Van could ever hope to be. It has a ton of torque. The center diff is locked, so these open diffs at the front and rear is the only thing you really have to worry about. And I'm actually going to be putting heavy-duty diff fluid in them, like maybe some 10K, enough to where it's almost locked for how light this is, but enough to where it can still have a little bit of diff action. But I want to be able to make it to where it's like a monster crawler, if that makes sense. Something I can drive in the snow, through the trails, in here in the house. This thing is slow enough you can drive it in the house. So if you're looking for something for a Christmas present for a little, like a 5 or 6, maybe 7-year-old for indoor, if you're like me and you live where it snows for 6-7 months of the year, this is the #1 choice I would put down for anything. Honestly, I wish I would have bought this before I bought that Grom right there. This thing is, without a doubt, hands down, the much better vehicle. Granted, the Grom was $150, plus I got another battery, so $200, and the battery charger's slow. Battery charger on this is actually fairly quick for what it is. But this is $219. It's bigger, it trails better, it goes more places. It's a little bit slower than the Grom is, but it's a little bit slower than the Grom is, but it makes up for that in being able to literally crawl over anything. If you watched in the driving video, we took this out to the track, and you could see it drove over the 4-inch field tile that we have as our track piping like it was nothing. It literally drove over it. That is one thing about this that is awesome that the Mad Van could not do. The Mad Van did have troubles with that because of the tub chassis. It would get hung up on it. It will drive over whatever you want to put it over. If you're looking for something for somebody who's young, wants to trail, wants to have something that is cheap to upgrade, you can get every upgrade that is available for this for like $70. It's incredible. I mean, aside from electronics, obviously you could probably go brushless and put a different servo in there. But the actual vehicle upgrades, aluminum shocks and lockouts and hubs and all that stuff, is like $70. And that is incredible. I will be putting those on here in the next like 2 to 4 weeks, and that'll be another video I'll be doing on these. But that's a great truck. The Mad Van. It comes with 2 paint schemes. You can take a Sharpie and do this cool thing like I did. As you can tell from the driving video, Mad Van is the perfect name for it. That was with the stock brushed system in this, that it was taking that big mound of road millings and literally just eating it up, tearing it up, jumping over it, doing just sort of all sorts of crazy stuff. This thing, for what you get for $219, is awesome. Yes, you have to get a battery and charger for this, but you're gonna have to get a 2-cell LiPo and a LiPo charger. But hands down, if you're wanting to just go out and bash and have fun, or put snow paddles on or sand paddles on for the snow, or if you live somewhere where you have sand, this is the one to go with. This thing will tear it up. I will show you something that I did do to this. I did go ahead and put in that brushless system I had laying here. I put in that Reedy 3300 kV 4-pole with the SC600 VL speed controller. with the 29 tooth pinion. It cogs on low RPM because of the fact that it's overgeared. But I was keeping up with the cars going down a road at like 60 miles an hour. So that's fun. On 2S. The only qualms that I really have about this, and I do have to rebuttal something I said in my previous video. I said that the dog bones were plastic. I thought these were just big hunks of plastic in here. These dog bones right here. Right there. Nope. They're metal. They are black steel. As good as that is, they need to be CVDs on the front. If you're going to take this to any sort of high grip environment, it needs to have CVDs on the front. The back I didn't have any problems with. The front, if you're under a steering load and you land on that front end, it will flex it enough that it will chuck dog bones. I threw out both the left and the right side. I was on a racetrack when I did it, so I was able to find them. But if you're out actually just bashing at a playground, bashing at a skate park, the odds of finding that dog bone are going to be slim to none. So that being said, I do recommend doing the CVD shafts on this. They are $45 a pair. So I would say the front more important than anything else. The other thing that I would say is a good thing to do on this is the shocks. Not that the shocks are wrong on this. The shocks are actually very nice. But if you wanted to be able to have some fun with it even more so, the shocks would be awesome. I honestly think that you could probably get away with putting a truggy body on this, some 2.2 like 10 scale truggy tires. Since these are 2.2 monster truck tires, you could probably run this in an open 4-wheel drive class. It's very nimble. It's very fast. It handles phenomenal. Like, there's very few times when I haven't been able to save it and put it back on all fours. I've ran about 10 packs through each vehicle, if not a little bit more. I can honestly say, aside from chucking dog bones, I haven't broke anything. Part of this was durability test. I am so shocked at the durability of them both. I think the MT12 is just so slow that it doesn't really break. But this guy should have broke. It's fast. I was putting it through its paces. I was literally running it into stuff on purpose. I caught the rear end on a 4x4 post to see if I could break the rear end. It didn't. It flexed instead of breaking. It flexed and then bounced off of it. I don't know if that's everybody's luck with the Mad Van, but it was my luck with the Mad Van. And I honestly cannot say that I have ever purchased a vehicle in $200, even $300 range that has taken the abuse that I've put this through in the last couple of weeks. It is, without a doubt, one of the best RTRs I've ever purchased. And I'm not a basher, and I'm saying that. I'm a racer who has purchased RCRs to race with, such as this SC10 right here, the old SC10s. When Losi had the 10 SCTE as an RTR, I had that. It was fantastic. To just have fun with, though, I would put this over the 10 SCTE. I would. Even though that truck was phenomenal. This thing, the open monster truck wheels, it bounces, it cartwheels, it does all the crazy basher stuff you want it to do, but at $220. I cannot say enough how much I loved this truck. And that's in 15 years of being in this industry. This is the first time I've ever driven this one. This is one of my favorite platforms ever, hands down. I am so sad that they discontinued this purple. I really hope that they bring it back because, you know, even if they change some stuff slightly, if they put CVDs in the front of it, maybe in the V2, I don't know what they're doing with the V2, but Kyosho, if you see this, please put CVDs in the front. Even if it's like 40 bucks more, I still will say that this is the best vehicle you could buy for less than 300 bucks. It literally was out mulching the leaves in the yard. It was awesome. As you can see, it has taken the abuse, and the chassis even is like barely scratched up. I don't even know what else to say about this thing. I've driven it over rock piles, over sand, over tracks, through the woods. It should have broke, and it didn't. And that alone is enough to make me say, go out and buy the Kyosho Mad Van. If you have a little and you want to just have fun on the trails, the MT12 is fantastic. If you want to have this as a thing that you can play with as a very, very scale monster truck, but also go trail crawling with it, this thing is cool. The tires are a little hard for that. I wish that they were as soft as the Mad Van ones, but they are the same size. So maybe get the Mad Van tires to put on the MT12, and that thing would crawl over anything because these tires are super soft. These are quite hard, but there again, like I said, this thing is awesome. It is, for what it is also really fun. One of my favorite things about it is it has this giant servo saver on here, but it also has, oh, where's it at? There we go. It also has this super flexible steering rod link. So you're not really going to strip out your steering servo. So it's great for little kids. This thing though, oh man, it's awesome. That's my 2 cents about them. As you can see, I can't say enough good about the Mad Van. Kyosho, please bring the V2 back very soon. Very soon. Please don't make it next year. Please make it very soon, like before Christmas, because this thing is awesome. The MT12, it is also cool. They just came out with a new one called the Lux. That's a pickup truck that has a battery that's twice the runtime as the one that comes in the Monster Van. I'm a sucker for the 80s van. I think it's cool just because, you know, I think old school monster trucks from back in the 80s always had that, always had the old conversion van look. So that's why I like the monster vans. If you have $200, $250 to spend for Christmas time, upwards of $300, get the Mad Van. Oh, you can spend, like I said, about $70 to upgrade what is available for the MT12. This one, aside from electronics, now this does not include electronics. The amount of upgrades that you can do to this will put you in the ballpark of $340. But that is decking this thing out, like decked out. Putting hardened gears in it, aluminum shocks, aluminum hubs and steering blocks, aluminum center shaft, CVDs front and rear, which that's $100 of it by itself. Aluminum steering rack. You can literally deck this thing out more than anything that I would have actually imagined on it. And considering you're gonna, if you get something like a Traxxas Stampede 4x4, you're going to be in the ballpark of about $80 more than what this one is new. If I remember, I think they're about $300. And you're gonna get a much weaker vehicle with far less abilities. They actually seem a little bit slower for some reason. If you want to go full out hop up, it's going to cost you about the same amount of money. The only thing that I had to do to fit this reedy system in here, because the speed controller is so big, is I did have to take the receiver and flip it up on its side, which you can see right here. I took that, it was laying flat, I had to flip it up on its side to make room. So that's the only thing. This is the long wheelbase and it still is that tight. That's a little sad, but it's a great truck. It's a great truck. These are both great trucks. Don't forget about the MT12 because for the scale realism of it, it is awesome. It literally drives and acts just like a scale realistic monster truck. So if you're looking for something as an indoor scale monster truck, go with the MT12. It is perfect for that. If you're looking for something to just go out and bash and have fun, Monster Van, hands down. So that's it for today, and I will see you next week on another episode of Combustion RC. So until next time, keep the rubber side down, the shiny side up, and remember to stay in the group.